Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 100 Hours Club. I am your host, Nestor P. And if you're watching this, if this has come across your timeline, or your notifications on YouTube, um, that means that we have officially made it through 2025, and now we are officially in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. So, another year. Hopefully, everybody out there is doing wonderful. If you decide to if you decide to, um, like, if you made a New Year's resolution or something, I salute you. Keep on doing your thing. Hopefully, it works out for yourself. Hopefully, it works out for what you are doing in life and what you are trying to accomplish. I am never going to be anybody to tell anybody that what they're doing is not right, And for myself, I personally just want to be a better person for myself and my daughter, my wife, my family, my work environment. And I just want to be better. And I think I do that every day. And I don't feel like, I think like Key Glock said it the best, like, I don't think you should wait for a particular day to want to better yourself and to want to put yourself in that position where you want to be better. And I've always been entertained by music. I've always been entertained with just the not like the lifestyle, but just music has really got me to do a lot of things. And when I went from music, transitioned to the podcast, and you know, if I'm going to do what I do as far as me being a podcaster and me trying to bring good content to whoever watches this, I have to stay true to myself. And I've always dibbled and dabbled, like landing on Mars was people coming into my world, but ultimately my podcasts have always been about people hustling and always admiring what people do when it comes to hustling. And with hustling there comes a lot more than that. There's reasons why people are doing what they're doing. There's reasons why people are hustling the way they hustle, and it's yes, it's a grind. You got to survive. Ultimately, you got to work so you could eat. And but like I said, if I'm going to do and if I'm going to bring great content, I got to speak about myself. I got to put myself out there, and I got to make sure that what I'm bringing to the table is good. And I just turned 40. Just this past October, I turned 40, and it's wild because I became a father at the age of 38. And like my daughter, she'll be 3 years old this year in February. So with me being the age that I am, and with me being where I'm at this particular point, like being a father at 40, a first time father at 40, it's a real blessing. Like to me, it's a real blessing. Like I know people that have kids and they've had kids when they were younger. A lot of the people that I went to school with and that I grew up, they already have kids that, they're already older, like my daughter, like I said, she's gonna be 3. They have kids that are 20. And it's like when they're finishing, I'm like just starting, and I look at that like it's a blessing because when I was younger, I didn't really have a sense of direction on where I was going, on what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. Like me being in San Marcos, it happened to be that was a part of my path, and that's why I ended up coming out here. But I don't feel if I was a father back then, I would have been the best father that I could have been. Like I dibbled and dabbled in drugs, doing them, selling them, you know, being to the point where I'm like almost homeless, like being to the point where like, my mom didn't even really like want to make an effort to do anything for me, and it was just wild. Like it was just really wild. Like to think like, man, like I did all of this. Like I did all of this. Like I didn't really become a real hustler until like I got to like until I got here in San Marcos until someone pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, man, bills are important. Credit is important. Paying yourself is important." I didn't learn all of that till like I was in like my early 20s. I think it was like 21, 22, something like that. Is when I really started learning and understanding what it was to grind and what it was to be responsible, and to think of to think if I would have had a little one at that time and I was going through all of that, I don't think I would have been the best father that I could have been. Like when I was younger, it was like, man, I want to do this, I want to do that. And getting old felt like nothing. Because when you're 20, 21, 22, you don't really feel that age, and you don't really feel your body, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you don't really feel like you're getting older. It's just like you're young and you're embracing it and you're just going. And that's ultimately what I was doing. Like I was just when I was young, man, like I was just like I just didn't really care. And to think about it now and to try to understand it, like damn, like if I was a father then, I feel like I would have had not been able to give my kid or my kids the proper life or the proper attention that I do now with my daughter. Like my daughter is like very, very important to me. And I wanted a daughter. I wanted a daughter. Of course, if I would have had a son, I would have been happy about it. But I remember one time, shout out to my cousin David. Um, he has three daughters. I believe yes, three daughters and a son. But the son came later. The son came like a little bit later. But I remember one time telling him like, hey cousin, like, do you like being a father to girls? And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. And I was like, why? And it was one of those things. He was like, I could baby them. Like if they fall, I could tell them and pick them up and kiss the boo boo, and everything's gonna be okay. And he's like, on the flip side, if I had a son, I could do that, but then I have to be like, hey, man up, you're okay, just get up and go, and you'll like go do your thing, And I've always remember that. I always remember what he said. And as men, even when you're young, like nobody shows you how to care. Nobody shows you how to love. Nobody shows you, especially the age group that I'm in. Like it was just all about like just not really being in touch with your feelings. Like all of that being in touch with your feelings, that all of like that just recently started. The generation now, they recently started being in touch with their feelings, but they also made a different way for themselves where they don't have to necessarily go to school. They don't have to go to college to make all this money. And ultimately, success comes from, I guess, how much money you make. It is not, you could have all the degrees in the world, but if you're not making no money, who cares about that? And it sucks to say it, but that's just the reality that we live in. It's about money. So I was never that type of person to be, touchy feelings and touchy with my emotions and stuff like that. So at a very young age, I always knew and I always wanted to have a daughter. And when when me and my wife got blessed with the daughter, it was just like, man, I like from the first time she was in my hand to the first time that I heard the heartbeat, it was just like, whoa, like what is that? Like what is that sound? And I sorry about that. I think I do have the video. And if I do have the video, I might, input it in here. But if I don't, I apologize. If I do, I'll input it in here. If I don't, I apologize. But
Yeah, baby's looking very normal. So you've got head, body, so arms and legs. There's baby's heart right there. And we'll listen. A-okay, and baby's heart rate is perfectly normal. We're at 150 beats a minute. Anything between 110 and 180 is normal.
From that moment, from when the moment my wife found out she was pregnant, it was a happy thing. It was a happy emotion. It was just like, thank you, Lord. And it was funny because she had sent me a picture one time, and it was Jigga with his hand on her. And like, it's like here, like he knew. And Jigga's my late dog. Um, but it's like he already knew. He already knew that she was pregnant, and everything happened so like everything happened so natural. Like I met her, she didn't have any, like she didn't have baggage, I didn't have baggage. I was single for a very long time, but I was at the point where I was ready to like be with somebody, but not, like be ready to be with someone, but ready to have a life with someone, not just a couple, this and that, just ready to like settle down. You know what I mean? Like I I was single for a very long time. I was alone for a very long time. I've always I've always been okay to be alone. Like not trying to be this hardcore person, but my own company is, I'm cool with that. Like there's no drama when you're by yourself. There's no headaches when you're by yourself, and if there is a headache, it's a headache that you're providing. You know what I mean? It's not somebody else's headache. It's a headache that you're providing, so you got to deal with it and get the hell out of it. So, but when you have so much people around you, when you got so much noise around you, that's a distraction. So for me, I've always been the person, like I said, I've always been alone. So like I even like I did this one song and I said like all roads led to Ashley, all roads led to my daughter's mom. Like I was single for so long, and there was a particular reason why. It's like look at where I'm at. Look at everything that I've gone through. Money wise, I'm still chasing that. I still haven't figured that out. And I'm still trying. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure that out. And it's beautiful because like I said, I have a daughter and I have like my wife. I have the family that I always wanted. And I feel good about that. I feel proud about that. I want to be a dad. I want to be a husband. I want to be the person that my daughter depends on. I want to be the person that my wife depends on. I want to be that. All I know is marriage, kids, or a daughter. I'm not gonna say kids because I only have one, but that's what I know, and that's what I'm very comfortable with. And it's like I can't give y'all a real show if I'm not talking about my real life. And to some, being a parent, people don't want to be a parent. And if you're past 40, and if you're maybe 45 and you don't want to be a parent, maybe you don't want to be a parent. And then it just shit just happens. But I never thought that I was going to be a parent at this particular age. To me, it was just like I'm rolling with it and seeing what happens. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I was very blessed, and I was very fortunate to have it, and I was very, like I said, blessed to be able to catch up to that and to be able to be here with my daughter and with my wife. And I'm at the point where it's like everything I do now, it's so I could extend my life and I could be here with my daughter and I could see her grow. I could go to the father daughter dances. I could help her. I could show her how to drive. I could show her, like show her the best shoes, show her, give her a good style, but also show her what it is to respect. Also show her what it is to say thank you and to say please and to say, can you help me, and ask for help. I never want to be that father that puts my daughter in a position where she feels she can't talk to me. Like, I don't want that. I want my daughter to be able to talk to me and have a conversation with me, be able to let out some anger with me, because the real world is not going to allow her to talk and not is not going to allow her to talk without a response. With me, she could let it out, say what she has to say, and we deal with it and we get through it. We just heard of somebody in San Antonio, supposedly Everybody says that it couldn't have not been a suicide, but people are saying that are forensics and detectives are saying that she shot herself, she killed herself. It was a murder. Found they a girl went missing. Sure enough, she ended up finding her. She had a gun shot to the head, and when she went missing, the gun went missing, and there was just so much stuff that happened. And I don't ever want to feel like I I don't ever want my daughter to feel like she's in the position where she has to run from her comfort zone. I don't care where I'm at, but my daughter could always come home. My daughter can always depend on me, even if I'm giving her my last dollar, I'm giving her my last whatever. And that's why I'm at the point where I'm trying to figure out financials. I'm trying to figure out things. So it never has to be the last. It's always like, yo, this is for you. You use whatever you need, but it's, of course, it also comes with responsibility. It also comes with trust. It also comes with being a father, being a dad, being a parent. Like I'm not gonna give my daughter everything just because I don't want to hear her cry. I'm not gonna give her this because she's doing this. It's you have to put the time and the effort, and you have to be there. I'm here for my daughter. I work a lot. I do. I've said that many a times. I've said that plenty of times that I work a lot. But I'm here. I come home. I put my daughter to sleep. We spend time. We have dance offs. My daughter, she's into K-pop. She's into Taylor Swift. She's into Justin Timberlake, Trolls, the whole soundtrack. Like my daughter loves to dance. My daughter loves to dance. At my brother's, shout out to my brother Roy, at his retirement party, she was dancing the whole time. Like she was on stage, she was on the dance floor just dancing. And if my wife says she gets it from me, and she gets it from me, but it is what it is. It's I just love to see the spark and the light that my daughter has whenever not just I'm around, but even when my wife is around. Like she has her moments where she wants to be just straight with me, and then she has her moments where she wants to be with her mommy. And you know what? To me, that's fine. Like as long as we're doing our job and as long as we're there as parents, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Like money is gonna come and go, people are gonna come and go, but family and the time that you spent with your kids is never gonna get old. It's never gonna dry. It's never gonna be like, oh, you spent too much time with me. Like, nah, like I don't feel like I could get if I had a daughter 20 years ago, if I had not just a daughter but a son 20 some odd years ago when I was in my 20s and my 25s, I don't think I could have been this way. I've stopped vaping. Like I'm probably going on a year without vaping, and that's that. I was vaping for like 5 years straight. So just vaping in general, man. Like you don't know the long, the consequences long term. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that I had to walk away from. And even at this point, if I smoke, it's after work. I don't even like when I'm doing what I'm doing. Even when I'm doing this, I gotta have a positive mindset. I gotta have a focused mindset because this is not something for play. This is something that I really enjoy doing. This is really something that I love to do. I love to be behind the mic. I love to be behind the camera. I love the lights. I love this. And I love it because it just allows me to be on a stage and let out everything that I want to let out. Like I said, a podcast is something that people look for. A podcast is something that people they research. So it's not like the radio where you just turn on the radio and that's it and you good to go. My bad. It's like, it's winter where I'm at. So my bad. But I just enjoy being a father. I enjoy it. I love it. I'm always like, man, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? Like when I gotta go out of town, sometimes my heart hurts and it's like, oh, like next week I gotta go to Lubbock. Tomorrow I gotta go to Leander. Saturday I gotta go to halfway to Palestine. I think it's Palestine. I don't know where the hell, but like I travel. I'm on the road a lot. I'm doing this. I'm always going, but I always make sure I get home. I always make sure that I'm home. And when I hear the daddy, ain't no better feeling than that. Ain't no better feeling. No amount of money I could get will make me feel better than that. And if it does, it's because I know that that big amount of money is going to them, to my daughter, to my wife, to us as a family, to us as one. 100 hours club, man, that's all I could do. I grind, I stay grinding, but I'm a full-time father. And when you're a full-time father, you don't get those breaks. When you're like I was sick not too long ago. My head was it was hurting like crazy. I've never had that. But yet my daughter still wanted to be around me. My daughter still wanted me to play with her. And what was I doing? I was still there for her, still playing with her, still making sure that I showed up. Because as a full-time father, you have to show up. You could have a bad day. You could do all that. But when your bad day gets taken out on the little ones and on the family, that's when you have crossed the line. You know, like I want my daughter to be happy. I want life to be good. Everything that I went through, she won't go through. And that's just being a father at the age of 40. When I was younger, I didn't think about being 40. Now that I'm 40, I want to be 80, 90, because I know the longer I'm here, the longer I'm with my daughter, and the more I will be able to show up. I can't wait for daddy daughter dances. She's not going to school yet. So once that happens, and trust me, I already had the anxiety of her even going to school. I already have the anxiety like, oh, how am I gonna be able to protect her with me not even being there? One, I don't trust people, and two, I don't trust people. my Especially, like, no one's gonna give my daughter the love and that I give her, the love, the feel, the comfort that I give her. No one's gonna give that to her besides my wife. But a teacher, a teacher assistant, they're not gonna, they can't sit there, and it's understandable. It's a classroom. They got 20 other kids or however it's done, and maybe five of them are crying, so they can't sit there and baby all of them. But yeah, I really do have the anxiety for that. And no matter what, this is a job that I will never abandon. You know, my dad never gave up on me, even though how hard at it I was. My dad never gave up on me. Back in the day, my mom wasn't there, but now she is, and that's all that matters. My daughter will never have that. She'll know what it is for daddy to be there from when she was born to where I was out. You hear? That's my baby right there. But I really appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. 100 Hours Club. We are here. 2026. It's ours. Yeah.